I'm Paul from Vianden Galactic Spaceyards. I'm in my shop with Ken. Ken asked me if I could do something along the lines of cosplay. So I'm gonna make one piece of like Assassin's Creed type thing because I like this thingy too. But I'm also gonna make, over time, I'm gonna add some other pieces which I make up myself. I will take elements maybe from Star Wars or other Warhammer things. We're making this just for the hell of it. Nobody ordered it. If you make armor, usually you will probably not use it to fight, really. What's important, I'm not gonna show you an exact how to do it, but give you an approach. You will get a nice armor because you want a nice armor. Then you have to know, do you want to just hang it up on the wall, look cool, use it once in theater play, then it might look good, but might not be very practical or flimsy. Do you really want to go into LARP and stuff where you run around and roll around in it? Small differences. So, again, Ken asked me to show what I'm going to use, which I'm not really sure. But a few things. A piece of plastic pipe. We actually bought it. We will surely need some spray cans. In this case, I think a jigsaw is quite necessary or very good to have. We will need a few normal hand tools. One very, very useful thing is a pop rivet gun. You get them real cheap. This is actually a fairly cheap one. Drill, some paper to take sketches on, and later on to fix the armor we will need some belts. So I got some Velcro and nylon belts. I got a collection of leather stuff. I have some friends who have horses, so all the stuff that's not good for horses anymore is very, very, very usable with all these little rings and nice pieces and so sometimes. I'm not sure what I'm going to use yet. We will need some sorts of glue. Mostly nothing that you can't have around or that the normal garage workshop won't have. So if this is my arm, there's a piece that sticks over the elbow to protect the elbow. And let's say it's about to here. So I just take a quick measurement of what that would be approximately. It's like 20 centimeters. Fold it in two. Because this thing is symmetric. So yeah, we can do it unsymmetric too, but let's make it symmetric in this case. We have 20 centimeters, approximately, about here. And we also have, how far does it go out? Let's say goes from there to about here at the widest, which in this case is 9 centimeters. So we got this. We go, we draw sort of a half round. We go up a bit. We go up a bit more. And make a curve there. Sort of good. Now I want to have, of course, a nice roundy curve, which you can take your compass, or you can take a paint pot or another object which seems to have a nice curve. Hey, this has a nice curve. It's nice. Make a nice curve here. Take some scissors. Cut this out. See if this sticks over. Yeah, I like it. The next thing is we want to transfer this to the plastic. We could tape it. In this case, I got a lot of spray glue hanging around. I slap it on there. In this case I go with the marker because we're making, this looks sort of cast irony or cast bronze sort of thing. So it doesn't need to be the 100% laser cut precision thing, which allows us to go fast. So I draw it with a marker. Otherwise, of course, if we had to make something very precise, I would draw it very nicely with a pencil. Peel this off. Actually keep it, maybe I can use it for something else. So I'm gonna jigsaw this out, and you know, safety is an issue, and you've seen me use the jigsaw without glasses very often. When you know I know what's going to happen. In this case, we're cutting plastic, and I might have to look exactly. So this time, yeah, I'm going to wear safety glasses. So we got our first rough piece. Let's see. Oh, actually sticks on. These things give the impression that they are narrower, but if you look exactly, they're the same size as this one. We're going to use this. We could probably make it this long. I will just do this by eye. You can, of course, if you exactly design you want to design your armor, you can give it a special shape, make some spikes coming out. But if you make spikes, if you want to put spikes or things like that on there, try it out symbolically, imagine them, and see if you're not going to hurt yourself in the belly with it. Like in this case, you could have some spikes here and you're probably not going to hurt yourself. If you have plastic spikes sticking out here, you're going to do something like this, and it does not look as cool anymore. So, yep, same thing. I was involved in making quite a bit of real armor for some fantasy stuff and for a lot of medieval reenactments. So this is a shape, a real shape that you could use. You would not need these flexible things because your forearm isn't flexible, but it's cool to have. On the other hand, a thing like this, you would use it to protect your elbow. In this case, if you look at the picture, it would be here. Well, where it's sort of in a place that jams your arm if you want to bend it all the way back. So we're gonna find some trick in between to that, or we have to change it a little bit. Armor is something really that you have to do bit by bit. You have to try it out if you want to use it. It doesn't just happen that you make it, try it on, because chances are you're gonna be totally stiff in it. You know, it's and what they did here is do this and put it then so that it is over the hand, which looks again real cool, but that makes your spike here run to the wrong part of the elbow. Plus, here's another thing. This shape looks really cool. Protects your hand. It also makes your hand impossible to move up without hurting yourself. Real armor would actually be cut the other way around. This might later on annoy me because I might bounce into these points, but then I have to round them off. But first I like this better, so I'm going to cut that out. I'm just going to lengthen it a bit at the end, and I'm going to just do that I'm gonna try to do it by hand. I always keep my original because we might want to have a repetitive form on some other element of the armor, maybe on the upper arm, so it's always nice to have the original shape. Okay, here's a little thing. When you cut plastic, the heat of the saw blade sometimes welds it back together, which happened again. Usually you try not to go... It's a balance between going fast on the jigsaw, which melts a lot but cuts very easily, and going slow, which doesn't melt it, but then you might get stuck in there, because cutting pipes is something in weird angles. It's not like cutting a clear plate. Plus plastics are always different. But we got our hand protector here, which in this case, in my case, is going to wind up like this, because I'm going to put the armor so it protects my elbow. And I think this is fairly... So, we just sanded this, and the sander made a bit of the same problem as the jigsaw does. Sort of melts the plastic, so it gives it a nice curve on it, but it makes a lot of fuzz. So, in the end, we don't get around sanding it by hand. Sanding by hand is actually something very good to do, because it lets you know your piece much more intimately. I'm not joking. If you sand by hand, you will run your fingers over it much more often and notice more little things which you might want to change, add, or which you really enjoy. I will take a measurement so I know my total length. Approximately, it's about 30 centimeters from the hollow to the point up there. Put this out here, and then we try to space it a bit evenly. Look at it. I might want to do one or the other thing. If I look at this, the upper part looks a bit wider, which looks cooler. In this case, I'm going to try to bend this with heat. I got myself a hot air gun. A real one this time. Last time I bought a cheap €12 one, and you know what? I got a €12 hot air gun, which broke on the first time I ever used it. So, this seems to be the real thing, so I'll keep this a bit apart. Keep it a bit bent, and I hope... Next thing, I want to tentatively assemble these. Here's a very heavy leather strap from something. There's no downside I can think of right now, so I'm going to use this. But you could use transport straps, horse gear, possibly a piece of an old jacket. Oh yeah, other materials I use for spacey stuff. These things like this, just go through your supermarket. This stuff, very funny, I love it. It's what the grandmothers used to put under the tablecloths in order to protect the table from stains and hot pots. And you will see exactly this one in a movie called Event Horizon, first scene. You see the guy's head against this. I didn't do it. I just laughed because I had the same stuff, and I had it from somebody who actually used on the tablecloth. Sprayed silver. It looks crazy. This is some similar stuff from a supermarket. I'm not exactly sure. It's sort of an anti-slip mat. I'm not exactly sure what it's sold for, but it was really cheap. Looks very spacey. Has two different sides. You can do a lot of stuff with. It's very flexible. Has really nice feeling to it. I will center it approximately. To puncture leather, you can... There's these pliers. I have some, but I don't know. I bought even some really good quality ones, and they never seem to work as good as I want them. You can use the hammer punches, which most of the time I do, or for leather that's a little bit bigger or harder, you can actually just use wood drills with a little pointy bit. And this one, the first one, is not so precise. If you use these on very thin leather, the leather will just wrap around and fly about. Later on I will rivet this. At this moment, I will bolt it because I want to be able to take it apart if it's really not like I want it. Now I need to mark these. I'm not sure that this works. Oh, probably yes. If you use things like webbing, Velcro type stuff, and also leather, if you want to do it, definitely put washers under there, because on thin stuff this might really rip through. I just thought of something also possible as a variation on the theme, which I'm not going to do now. But we could also, with the leather under, do something which goes a bit around the corner if we want to have more of the hand protection, the real hand protection, and the elbow protection the same way. It would be a variation on the theme, not very difficult to do. We just would have to not center the holes. But then we could do something like this, where this here protects the elbow and this actually is above your hand. And we got a nice flexible armor, which already starts looking quite kind of cool. We could even do something like this, which would go around the elbow or so if we want it. Hey, variations on the theme. We can still go for that in a later video if we feel like. So we're happy with this. We're happy with the fact the holes are in the right place. The next thing I'll do is I'll start decorating it. I bought something cool. A little hut, which is magnetic. Good. Here's the basics. This is really cool because you can dump all your stuff in there and hang it upside down. Okay, I think we're gonna do a cut because I need to rummage through a bunch of junk and I'm not sure you want to follow me all the way in there.